Chapter 12 of AskGaryVee, Stop with the Excuses. In this chapter, Gary Vee kind of goes over reasons that people think they're not having success and some steps to take to change that perception of the mind. So first, he says we look at excuses to explain why we don't have what we want. And he sees a lot of people that complain that they aren't successful, and they'll point out excuses of reasons they couldn't do things. And he thinks that we use these excuses to justify why we don't have what we want. And by being able to justify it, then we don't confront the problem of what we could improve on to get the desired result we want. So to get the desired result we want, it has to be a good change would be a shift from I can't to why can't I? Because when you're in that I can't do this because of this, that because part is the excuse part. But when we switch the language in our minds from why I can't to why can't I, so then you say, well, why can't I do this? And then you come up with a reason. It's like, okay, well then I can do it. So by changing this phrasing by how you talk to yourself, you move your mindset from defense to offense. And when you're on the offensive mindset of assaulting the things that are impeding you from having your dreams, then that's where you're able to make points towards getting your dreams. And the last thing he kind of has, last 2 points, are about rethinking your business, because basically a lot of people think that they can't do well in marketing because they have an old, unshiny business. And his point is that there are a lot of unshiny things that people make look really shiny based on the perspective they take on it. So for your company, think of your company a new way. I kind of have 2 examples here. The first one is of a hardware store. You might be like, oh, well, we only have tools and paint and tape measures and hammers and all this stuff. But what you should think about it, a better way to think about it would be people who are coming there to build their dream home and finish dream projects around their house, maybe building a garden or building a deck. You got to think of those people and those dreams, and it's a lot easier to portray people, hey, don't you want this garden? Don't you want this deck? Don't you want this fireplace? Than it is to say, don't you want this hammer and screws? So by thinking about what does my company do, what is the positive end goal that people get by coming here, then that could be really positive. And then after you've thought outside the box for your company, think outside your industry too. Gary really doesn't listen to the industries that he plays in because it allows him to innovate what he's doing faster. So think outside your industry and what are people in your industry not doing, and by you doing that, you can make yourself stand out, because it is good to stand out. The next example I kind of have of that is a funeral home. The advice Gary gave him was become known in your community for having the best flowers in town. And so by having that positive association with a sad thing such as a funeral home, you are able to drive business based off of the flower side and also have great reach with the funeral side of it. And then the last thing, even though it's not last, I'll change it in the notes, is to keep it fresh and interesting. Because especially in TV, there's a lot of people that makes non-interesting stuff, boring stuff, look really cool based on how they tell the story. And so it's how you market the story of your company that will lead to success. So that's kind of chapter 12. Stop with the excuses. Kind of just go after it and become on the offense. Thanks for watching.